Alright, so Creature Commandos is here, and finally the DCU from James Gunn is here, as this has officially debuted with the first two episodes, and this is like the start of the new era for DC and for this world to even unleash with its projects. But even starting with the show, I gotta say, for what James Gunn has crafted with the show in terms of the animation, the style, and the characters and their development, I gotta say, this was a well done show. And so this will be my spoiler-free review for the first two episodes. I think I'll have my reactions for those two episodes a little later down the line, but keep a lookout for that. But this will be my thoughts on the show and just the overall material in general. And so if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so much on any future videos. But now, let's talk about this show. And now, let me start off by saying that with James Gunn, that has crafted this show, and we all know that he is the man. He has done a lot of things in the comic book genre, like with the Guardians trilogy, the Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker, that are all written and directed by him. And he is one of those people that like can take characters from a comic book and make us follow them, to become attached to them, and make us instantly call them fan favorites, which he surely does, and that is like outstanding work from him. But even going into a show like this with Creature Commandos, and even people realize that this was one of the very first projects ever announced from his DC sleeve back in early 2023, especially with this image show being like the launch of the new era for DC, and especially for what his take on the new DC universe is, and especially with the show, it is really amazing. Especially out of the first two episodes, it is really well crafted, and even for what it is established, especially within like the only minutes of the show, and oh my gosh, it has James Gunn written all over it, and I can basically tell that like I think his DC universe is off to a great start. It's off to a good direction with this show, because even though I was hesitant, a little nervous going into it, because like, and even though I am more excited for Superman though coming out next year, but even with a show like this, it is really well done, because especially with the characters in the show, like with Rick Flag and Weasel, and also Amanda Waller, and all these other characters, they are really spot on and committed to their roles, for what roles they have to play in the show, because what Frank Grillo brings to the character of Rick Flag, and he really brings his role into a DC character come to form in animation. Plus, we are going to see him in live action in the upcoming second season of Peacemaker. But to see him for the first time portraying this character in animation is sort of very good. And seeing like Amanda Waller playing like Viola Davis is back, and with a Weasel played by Sean Gunn, but also with all these other characters, especially with the premise is assembling like a group of monsters to be handling missions that no one else could handle. It's almost like handling stuff for the Suicide Squad, but for a team of prisoners that are coming together to go on dangerous missions, and that's what James Gunn perfectly crafts with this show. And I want to say that, and even though with the first episode, it's sort of like a solid start, but once the second episode rolls around, it hits the ground rolling with like for how amazing and detailed crafted this show is, because it's especially with the action, and also with the violence, and for the way that the story is unfolded. It is really good storytelling from James Gunn. The man knows what he is doing, and he really made this show out to be a success. Even though throughout the show in general, like this thing is like really quick. Like it really goes into the story. And even though the episodes are short, kind of like sitcom length, but it does its job at establishing what the show is, of what the viewer is about to be in for. Plus, I mean, the first two episodes are seriously great. I mean, seriously, go and check them out if you haven't. But I think it's some of the best things to come from James Gunn. Like again, as I mentioned, I was hesitant going in, but I think this launch with this animated show, it puts his universe on the map. It puts it on the right spot. And for what he is able to dedicate to his craft with this show, on top of with the writing and with the characters and how they are developed within the beginning of the show, and I think it's really great stuff. I can go on and talk about how much what I liked about the show, and even though it's got a bit of flaws, but it really does its job of setting itself up for what we can expect later down the line, and especially from the story and which direction it goes. Like, it is also establishing a very first impression for what James Gunn wants to give to the audience, us as the viewer, because this is like viewing like his vision for the DC universe, seeing it like in the lens of him. I'm excited for what more we have in store with his timeline and for all the projects that he has to show us, especially all the characters that he wants to adapt, especially in live action and animation. But specifically, like, what I really liked about the show, it's just simply good storytelling. It's great action. Also, it doesn't hold back with the violence, and it just like it perfectly, it just like establishes a very good plot and just a very good story. And also, what I didn't like is that like there are like slow parts, and sometimes there are like good parts or one of those odd moments, but it really focuses on the main premise and the main plot with these characters, especially after the second episode. Like, I need more. Like, this is off to like a really great start, and just with the entire show in general, I feel like towards the end of the show, I feel like we're going to have more of an idea of what James Gunn can do with this DC universe that he is fully committed to, with stories that he wants to tell and put on screen and into streaming format. But I think with this being the start of it, and especially with the show, I mean, it's being well received now on Rotten Tomatoes as we speak, because this is like a new chapter, a new phase, a new start for it's a brand new era of DC. And plus, I really like the show, and I just really like all the characters and what purpose they serve. It's got some really great moments, like stuff like to all make us laugh, and there's some fun humor and good jokes. But it's also like great classic DC action. That's what the show perfectly establishes within like the opening minutes. Plus, like, we all see that. But it's definitely good storytelling, and it's just overall a very good show as well. But that's going to do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below and what your thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos, and are you looking forward to the next one? And if you think that the show is off to a great start for James Gunn's DCU, and are you looking forward to more of his projects after this show, just let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications about future videos. Also follow all my social medias over the link down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.